All right. Welcome to my really messy room. Um, I thought about doing a video today, and I was like, do I really want to have people see how messy this room is? And the answer is yes. I don't want to hide anything from you. I'm real, and this is my adventure cycling mess. Um, I'm currently in the middle of cleaning up this room, obviously, and so this is my yoga room, but I'm gonna go ahead and talk about yoga today. Um, I'm actually gonna try to post this video to YouTube as well, um, just with the hope that we can get more people to do yoga. I am playing music externally, so if you're coming for the music, this is not gonna be the video for you. You're gonna probably want to do something else. Since this is the first yoga video I'm gonna put on YouTube, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about myself just a little bit. So, um, long time athlete since I was a kid and been doing yoga forever. And in 20, was it 16, I got licensed. I got trained at the Ashtanga Yoga Institute. And it's been a while. I actually went through a period of like real serious loss of health. And because of coding and streaming and stuff, and some of the people on my live stream know about this, but I want to talk about it. It's been a long road back to health, and so in fact, I started doing yoga about a year ago and started messing with my wrists and stuff because I have it's too heavy. So, um, so this is a video to just kind of put it all out there. I, I just realized I have my Bernie 2016 shirt on. It's kind of appropriate because the 2016 is when I'm pretty sure that's when I went to training and everything. And actually, if you dig really hard, you can go to my SkillStack Twitter feed, and you can see the first class of people that I graduated from yoga training with. So I have a lot of memories of that. I'm just going to talk about this. If you're here for yoga, though, I am going to talk through um, my own personal development. This is more of a vlog than it is an instructional video. Just like my cycling videos. So this is not as much about me telling you what to do as much as it is um, me talking through what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And the reason I decided to do this today instead of just put the music on and do my practice is because um, I I'm a little concerned by streaming yoga that somebody's going to see it and they're going to try to do what I do. So I do handstands, I do back bends, I do, depending on the day, I do a lot of stuff that if a beginner were to try it, they'd actually get really hurt. And I actually have hurt myself in the past by doing more than I could. And so, you know, I'm either not going to stream it and just have my own personal practice, which I'm probably going to return to some of that more, or I am going to treat it like a yoga class, yoga vlog, and I'm going to talk about what I'm doing and why you might want to do it and why you might not want to do it and why you might want to mod it, because I feel kind of irresponsible as a sort of yoga instructor not talking about those things. Um, because it's really important if you like tweak your neck or something. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could really seriously hurt yourself doing yoga. And I figured I'd start by saying, I know that's a lot of talking, so let's get on it. The first thing I want to talk about is your gear, right? If you're going to get into yoga, you just need a mat. I would get a Manduka mat because they last forever and they're really comfy. They're super expensive, but those other foam mats, you'll ship them up and then you'll throw them away every year. So get a Manduka and just call it a day. Um, and as for clothing, you really don't have to have any fancy clothing. If you're bald like me, you might need something to keep the sweat off your head. I don't even think I'm going to sweat that much today. If you can do, I deliberately wore my jammies and my t-shirt today. There's no uniform for yoga. I had somebody yesterday 2 days ago, suggest in the chat that you invest in, a good set of Lululemon yoga gear, and I don't agree. I don't agree. I think you should be able to do yoga in anything that allows your body to move. Um, and that's it. That's it. That means your pajamas if you want. I mean, these are just cheapo banana shaped pajamas, and they feel fantastic, and they're gonna get sweaty and everything, and you're gonna be doing lots of laundry. One of the nice things about doing it in pajamas is you could just wake up and do yoga in your pajamas. It depends on how you sleep or something. All right. Well, I'm already feeling it. Okay, so the other thing you need to know as I'm going into this is that I am doing uh, today I'm going to be doing something new, and I'm going to be experimenting with different poses that both build core strength but also don't tire me out too much because I've been doing uh 2 to 3 hours of sometimes low intensity, sometimes high intensity cycling every day. So and there's videos on that on YouTube, and you can go watch that and come with me, join me. And I really, really enjoy my cycling. I actually consider it kind of a practice, a yoga practice, a cycling practice. I do it every day. It just totally changes my soul and puts a nice, you know, period of punctuation on the workday. And so I can, move into relaxing with my wife at night. I mean, there's just a million reasons I love cycling. And yoga and cycling actually go together really well, but there are a couple of considerations. So one of them is that depending on the type of cycling you're doing and whether you're competitive or not, the cycling is really going to take it out of you. It's really going to take a lot out of your body. And if you do Ashtanga practice, um, there's not going to be as much opportunity for you um, to get the most out of Ashtanga. If you're looking for strength, core strength gains, and if you're looking at yoga as a low intensity aerobic exercise, which it is, if you do Ashtanga or Batiste or any of these other yoga practices where you tend to sweat a lot. Yin yoga is focused on flexibility, and I mean there's just tons and tons of areas of yoga. And so one of the reasons I want to actually do a little bit of blah 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 during these yoga sessions is as I'm doing particularly yin yoga, I'm going to be able to talk a lot during it. Now, the first thing that I have a problem with there is that talking is actually distracting from the goal of original yoga. The yoga Chitti Vritti Nirodha. It means stopping the spinning or the fluctuation of your brain. That's the purpose of yoga above everything else. All this fancy sitting and headstands and everything, that is not yoga. Those are part of asana, which is one of 8 limbs of yoga, and actually debated about whether we should just have a talkie session on Fridays. I mean on Saturday when is normally the day off for Ashtanga. And I've decided that in order to keep this fun for me, to give up some of those opportunities for meditative practice, and to unless I'm going to do it, and we'll talk about it, and we'll actually do a little bit of meditation, and I'll just prompt and I'll talk through it. So um, if you want to follow along with me on that, you should be able to do that. And I'm going to start approaching this as a absolute beginner yoga class. Um, and I feel like that will be enough to get me loosened up for the day and to keep my core strength and still allow me to do um, some stuff. It also means that there's not gonna be a lot of heavy breathing. I mean, there will be heavy breathing, I promise, but that's not the highlight, of course. In terms of answering chat, I'm as with anything, I'm going to take an opportunity to check the chat every once in a while, but other than that, I'm going to leave chat off. Um, so uh, uh, you're gonna go great. Thank you, IPO. Um, I like your yoga tone. It's peaceful. Thank you. So again, we're not going to be reading a lot of chat. I will take breaks to read the chat on occasion, answer questions. And I'll do a Q&A at the end as well. So if you had a question about that day's practice, but the other reason for that is because I do want to at least maintain some sort of like meditative state as we go through it, even though I'm going to be prompting for a lot of this. Okay. And I'm going to be doing different styles of yoga. We're not necessarily going to do yoga in the order that everybody always does. And the yoga that I do is going to be adapted for beginners and for old people like me, you know. So anyway, let's go. I'm going to turn the music up and then we'll leave the chat here. We'll come back to that later. And I don't know if I'm going to get demonetized or muted because of the music. I guess we'll find out. This song is a really good. I wish I could skip on this. This does not skip. I wish it did. You know what? I can do that on my Spotify. Here, let's try that. I want to get the right music for the. I don't use music in yoga a lot of times. I'll just not do it at all. But and just let the breath be the thing that you have a pattern to. All right. The music is too high. Let me know. I can turn it down. All right, so we're going to actually start all of the practices with building a little bit of heat in the body. And some of the stuff I'm going to say is going to sound it's going to sound like yoga guy. And I don't like that, you know, like, oh, we're going to build heat in the body, right? I I don't like sounding like, you know, a yoga dude, but that's what we're doing. So I'm going to say it. So we're going to be building a little bit of heat in the body. Why are we building heat in the body? Because you probably know this, cold muscles are bad. They're bad to stretch. You don't want to ever stretch cold. And especially with yin yoga, we have to build up some heat in the body. So you probably shouldn't do yoga first thing. You should probably wait um, if you haven't voided. That's another yoga way to say took a shit. Um, then you might want to do that. You might want to wake up a little bit early, maybe have a date and some pecans and some coffee or tea, and let your body process. There's a saying in Ashtanga Yoga, coffee is prana. Sharath, I think, said that. He's a big yoga guy. He runs the Ashtanga Yoga Institute nowadays. That his dad, Tabi Joyce, died. Tabi Joyce being the father of Ashtanga. And so you know, you should be largely kind of empty down here, right? Not don't have any food in your system. But right after you do yoga, it's a good time to go get a smoothie and stuff. We'll talk about that later. All right, so we're gonna build some heat. So um we're gonna do a lot of what's called a sun salutation. We will not do the invocation today, the Ashtanga invocation. Vandi, good, you know, we're not going to do that today. Ashtanga has chanting. This is just, you know, we're just going to build heat in the body. So how do you do a sun A? So sun salutation. You know, you just lift your arms straight up. So the arms up, right? You try to keep your flat back. You can look up, and then you can fold over. Keep your back flat, and then let it curve out. Let your back curve. This is where the mic's going to be kind of screwed up. Actually, I'm going to try something. I'm going to put the mic on my glasses since it's kind of held in place. You guys tell me if that works out. Okay, it looks weird, but it's better than because then when I bend like this, it's not going to sound weird. Okay, now just let your arms hang for a second. Okay. Now I'm just showing you how to do this for now, but normally you'll do this in kind of a flow state and you'll combine it with your breathing. And we'll do some of those, but I want you to so you don't have to touch the ground, people. You can fold your arms if you want. Some people do that. You can shake your head out if you want. Loosen your neck. The whole point of these sun salutations is to build heat and some, you know, beginning flexibility before you do the rest. Okay, now we're just gonna bend over again, kind of waking your body up. And then eventually you can do a little hop here, but for right now, let's just step back, straight arms under your shoulders. Okay. And then you go down, but don't go down farther. You see how my upper arm is parallel with my body? Okay. Don't go down farther than that. Okay. And then you're going to curve up and look up. Now you see my toes are still on the mat, but if you want, you can roll your toes forward when you do that. And just arch your back. If you want, you can put your knees down. if it's still hard for you to control it, you can stay here for a bit. God, it feels so good. Guy like me who hunches over all the time on his bike. This feels so good. Okay. Now we're going to push back up. And as much as we can, we're going to try to keep our arms flat. You want to make an L, and you want to make that L hit the ground so that your hand is solid on the ground. And then try to keep your back flat. If you don't do it perfectly, it's okay. And then we're gonna gently, never, ever, ever bounce. Never, ever, ever bounce. Can I say that again? Never bounce. I saw somebody on Twitch bouncing in their stretches the other day. I was just like cringing so hard. This is one of the reasons I'm doing this. That's a surefire way to rip a muscle. Um, and if you have to have your knees bent, that's fine. You can actually, you might even hear your back crack a little bit when you do this. Okay, so that's 5 in and out breaths. Okay. Let me go forward and hold yourself up in kind of a plank pose. I'm doing it slow so you can see the form. All right, then you bring one foot up, other foot up, and bend over. That's what she said. And then we're going to go up. You can touch your hands and close your hands together if you can. My shoulders don't really work that well, so I just keep my hands straight. And then down. Samastitihi. And you should just feel fantastic just after doing one sun salutation like that. I do. I feel like my whole body's already started to release, right? It's already started to release tension. And even though it's really driving me crazy how messy this room is. All right, so let's do another one. This time I'm going to do it with the breathing, okay? I'm going to call out the breathing, not how to do the pose. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, hold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. That's what those are called. 5 breaths. If you can't support that, it's okay to put your knees down. Do it like this. This isn't a competition, people. Don't do this like you would do P90X. You know, that's where I first started doing yoga. Tony Horton, the guy that started the entire CrossFit movement, he calls yoga the fountain of youth, the elixir of life. Inhale, exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Dude's in his upper 60s. He might even be 70 now. He still does yoga videos on P90X. In fact, he doesn't do the P90X stuff anymore, the CrossFit. He focuses on yoga. Yeah, go look it up. Yeah, the entire CrossFit movement, the Cross X, P90X. Tony Horton started the entire CrossFit movement. Guess what he's doing now? Yoga. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up dog. Exhale. One breath. 2. 3. 4. 5. Now you can actually go up on your toes. Stretch those toes when you're going up. It feels so good in your toes, doesn't it? And then all the way up. Samastiri. One more. Okay. And we're going to do something called a Sun B. If you just learn Sun A, you're doing yoga. If you do Sun A's, flex pretty much every part of the body for the most part, wake you all up. The Sun B is a little harder, um, and it kind of intensifies the heat. You probably already feel yourself sweating right now, and that might be enough for yin yoga, but I did want to show you Sun B. We'll do a couple of these. The Sun B is the same as the Sun A, except for it has a warrior pose in the middle. So let's do it. And it starts out with bent knees instead. So you bend your knees, Sun B, arms up. Same thing, fold over. Flat back. You can put your feet back or you can hop back. Plank. Up dog again like Sun A. Down dog like Sun B. And this time we rotate our left foot a little bit. We lift this foot up and we throw it forward kind of by this front hand. See where I'm at? And then on our inhale, we go up. And then we have an exhale. And put the foot back. And go down. Come up for up dog. Downward facing dog. And then right into the next leg. Rotate the foot. Other foot forward. And you might have to lift your foot forward when you're first starting out. And then go up. On the inhale. And then down. And put the foot back. I don't know if you saw that, but I almost put my foot right where my hand is. Can you see that? You probably can't see it. Here, let me. So I usually put my foot almost right where my hand is. And then when I come down, I put my hands like kind of right where my foot's going to go, and I move my foot out of the way and put it back. Then down. Up dog. And then all the way back to downward facing dog for 5 breaths. If you want, you can bend one knee and kind of rock back a little bit, but don't bounce. Remember? All right. Now, again, inhale, exhale. We go all the way up, but this time we bend our legs. No, I'm breathing really fast right now. I don't know about you. And that's what you want. In fact, when you first start out, when you first start out, let's talk about suns for a bit. My heart rate comes down. In fact, I should probably put my heart rate on the screen. Sun salutations are for lots of reasons. One of them is that we talked about is building heat in the body. I'm plenty hot. My heart rate is going. The way you know that you're plenty hot is when your breathing is faster, then you can do the poses. So like I was right at the end of that last one, I was trying to go up, right? I was trying to go up and I was like, right? And that was when I knew that, okay, I've got enough heat in my body. So if you're doing the sun, if you're doing the sun salutations to build heat in your body so that your muscles are warmed up and you can do the rest like yin yoga, I'm good right now. Right now, I'm done. But there's a second reason to do sun salutations. My wife Doris, who's also, a certified yoga instructor, has taught in several different places. She regularly uses sun salutations as a workout. She would in her height of her day when I met her, she was doing 30 to 50 sun salutations every day. And she used that as her workout. So, and she would not have the pauses in between. She would not end at the end of it. She would do her yoga and she would just go and she would keep jumping. She would just keep doing sun salutations. So, on summer solstice, they also do 108, which is kind of a magic number in the yoga world, sun salutations, and they would just keep doing them. And I promise you, and you can either do sun A or sun B. I don't know if you saw, but sun B's like, they hit your legs a lot more, right? Um, Now I'm a cyclist and I need my legs later for today so I can bike. So I'm not going to, by the way, if you do, if you don't want to burn your quads out during yoga, you can modify you can make the intensity on your leg harder or easier based on how low you go, right? If you go all the way down, you're going to get a good, you know, s- s- um, stretch in your psoriasis. Was it? I want to say psoriasis. No, that's scoliosis or whatever the thing is. I have to look up the name of it, even though I had to pass anatomy and I don't remember. What's the thing? What's the thing that connects from right here to here? It goes down here. It's a hard thing. I keep forgetting about it anyway. You can change your intensity by going up or down, right? Okay, so bottom line, um, I'm hot. I'm sweaty. My pajamas, my clothes are covered in sweat already because I kind of worked out from before. So you can do. I just wanted to say you can either do yoga. You can do sun salutations to build heat. You can do sun salutations as a low aerobic workout that includes strength training, and you can do sun salutations to as for meditative sort of thing. So if you do it like sun A's are not as intense, and they're actually a really great way if your brain is going nuts and you don't want to think about it. It's kind of a cheap form of Tai Chi, right? You can just do sun A's and listen to your breath, and I promise you, after 5 or 10 of those, whatever problems were in your head or something like that, they'll seem much more manageable because you'll kind of like s- silence the fluctuations of the mind. That's what yoga is. Chitti Vritti Naroda. So, all right, so we've done our sons. Now, normally right now in Ashtanga practice, I would start to do all the hamstring stretches, the standing. We're not going to do that, okay? The reason I'm not going to do that, there's like balance poses and all kinds of stuff for Ashtanga. I will do that another day. Today, the only goal is for me to relieve the tension and to recover from the cycling I did yesterday. So I'm personally going to experiment with some poses, and I'm going to show you how to build your own practice, which is the ultimate goal is to build your own practice, not to go to, pay $8 and go to some yoga studio. I mean, you can do that if you want the community and everything, but that is not what yoga is about. Yoga is about building a personal practice. That helps you. It's about something you do in your at your house on your own time for free. It's not something that, that's been sensationalized and commercialized. That's not the purpose of yoga. Never has been, by the way. Well, I don't know. Krishnamacharya did kind of sell his soul so that to the Maharaji to do performance. All the performance yoga you've ever heard about, it was him trying to impress the Maharaji, the ultra rich Maharaji and all of his cronies so that he'd get more money. So Ashtanga yoga was actually invented to tame, uh, tween age boys and to chill them out. but it goes back much farther than that, and we'll talk about that later. But if there's going to be a lot of talking today because this is the first video and several, I know, with my messy yoga. This room sort of represents my beginner yoga mind, right? I've got all sorts of things going on. I'm not practicing saucha, which is cleanliness, which we'll talk about. So my body's warm and my heart, I can talk now. So now I know I can go down. Um, let's answer any questions that have come in. Actually, let me fix the video. There's the camera. We're going to be doing mostly seated yoga today. And um, so let's see if there's any questions before we move on really quick. It's a modified version of Surya Namaskara. Um, the first time I did up dog pose this, I haven't. It was really nice. That's great. Surya Namaskara, Surya Namaskara A and Surya Namaskara B. Those are the two that we did. Yeah. All right. So let's he's talking about up dog poses, and he's using the Sanskrit names, which I memorized once upon a time. All right, so that's just me naturally. Don't try to do that. You're not ready for that yet. Okay, so if you're beginning, um, there are act. Okay, let's do this. You see how I just plop down on the mat? There's actually a more elegant meditative way to get yourself into sitting position. And you can probably guess it involves a sun salutation. In fact, the reason it's so important you learn those sun salutations is in Ashtanga yoga or even in power yoga or Baptiste yoga, they are the things that the vinyasa, they are the flow, they are the things that link the poses together. So that's the goal. Whatever you end up doing, make sure you try to link stuff together. So let's do a sun A. Called it Chaturanga Dandasana. Say that 5 times fast. Okay, and so from here you can kind of push your hands up, right? And then you can bring one leg to your chest, bring the other leg to the chest, and the goal eventually is to bring your legs through to the front. Now, if you can't do that right now, obviously that's not a big deal. I still can't. You can sit down. When you get good though, you can do that and go all the way to the front. When you get really flexible, you can actually keep your legs straight and go right through. But that's not for everybody. And that's actually one of the things that I was very happy to learn in yoga training. I was feeling so bad because I couldn't do, a proper jump through. You can go look at the Ashtanga, crazy people that are really great. And they have standing. You know what? My arms are too short. I will never be able to do a standing jump through, ever. The only way I could ever do it would be to have a block. We'll talk about assists in a second. That's it. So don't let anybody tell you you're doing it wrong. When you got to listen to your body. It's a very personal thing. So, you know, there are some things that are you should probably listen to somebody about. So the first thing you probably want to do when you get into a sitting pose, I'm going to talk about some stuff that's really weird. So your ass cheeks. We're going to talk about your ass cheeks for a second. All right. What you want is you want to be grounded, right? You want to be grounded. It might be hard for you to even sit like this right now. That's fine. Keep your hands back here. But we're going to talk about your ass cheeks. I know this is really gross, but I promise you try this and you will love it. Spread your ass cheeks. So you'll see people in yoga, they'll reach around and grab their ass and then grab their other ass cheek. Try it. Try it. Right? Oh, doesn't that feel good? So you just got all of your glute muscles out of the way, and now your sit bones underneath there, those sit bones are making direct contact with the ground. It's very grounded, and if you have a nice mat under you, it just feels glorious. Um, it's just you just feel really based, just really grounded. Hey, based is both a common cool. That's so cool. Based is like what the young kids would say, and it's also relevant. Shocking. Okay, so we're just gonna sit here for a bit. Now you can sit here like this and then try to keep your head straight, keep your back straight as hard as you can. I'm probably gonna fail. I regularly think that my back is straight, and then I look at the video and I'm like, it's not straight. And by the way, nothing wrong with videoing yourself and then watching your own videos. It's the best way for you to give yourself your own. If you don't, the best way obviously is to go to a studio, like an Ashtanga studio or something, where you have somebody who's personally mentoring you. You have a private instructor. That's by far the best way, but not everybody can do that or afford that. So just taking a picture, just taking video of yourself. Swimmers do this all the time too, by the way. Swimmers will put a camera and they'll watch themselves in the lane, and then they'll go watch the video to check on their stroke. Just stretching my neck. Now, normally I wouldn't be talking so much. I'd be like listening to my body. Where, like, what is going on in my body? What needs work right now, right? And we're going to use kind of an adaptive practice today, which is fine. It's totally fine. Some people will tell you, oh, no benefit, because you didn't do the right order. Fuck that. Fuck that. You're going to do yoga for you, and you need to listen to your body and find out what's going on with your body. And right now, my body says, my hamstrings are a little tight, my shoulders are a little tight, my neck is still a little tight because, biking. And so I'm just doing some arm head rotations, not too much. Don't push it because you end up pulling something. But I'm just doing a little bit to loosen up my neck. This one, oh my God, that one feels so good. I'm just tilting my head to the right, and now I'm tilting my head to the left. And I'm still just sitting here. The reason for that's because the hamstrings are kind of loosening up and the tension is leaving. A lot of the reasons that people can't stretch is because they're just so tense. And I'm just letting myself get untense for a bit. All right. Okay, so now that I'm sort of untense, it's time to do a different pose. Now, we haven't done any serious forward bending yet, so we don't have to counter it with a pose. It's called the counter pose, which kind of bends you the other way. You ever see like any kind of plastic, you bend it too much, eventually it breaks, right? Or if you keep bending it the same direction, it doesn't bend back. Your body's the same. So I'm going to take like a little Indian towel. You can take any kind of towel. There's this kind, there's these microfleece, there's all kinds of towels. You can use a strap if you want, but I prefer a towel just because it's softer. I don't like the feeling of the straps that they use in yoga. They're really uncomfortable. So this is actually really comfortable. Plus, if I'm sweating, it cleans it up, and I can stick it in the wash, which you can't do with a strap. Oh my God, those straps get so nasty. They get so nasty. All right, so on the inhale, I'm going to straighten my back. Okay, on the exhale, I'm going to throw my towel out there. Now I'm keeping my back straight. So this is important, people. People think when they do a forward stretch, and there is a reason to arch your back, but not right now. So I'm keeping my legs are totally straight. My ass, my butt, my bones are connected to the ground because I move my ass glutes out of the way. And I am inhaling. I'm straightening my back, and I am making my navel touch my thigh. If you want to, you can think of taking your heart and having your heart touch your knees. That's the way to think about this. It's not thinking about touching your toes. Thinking about bending yourself so that your heart is going to touch your knees. And when you do that, you notice your back stays straight and you won't be able to go as far. You won't. You won't. Why? Because you're engaging the hamstrings the way that, they're supposed to be engaged. And, I see people do this incorrectly all the time. And I sometimes do just because I want to touch my toes because that's the Ashtanga way, right? No, don't. You just keep your back straight, keep your neck straight, and just go as far as you can. And this is no competition. Don't go too far. Just go to the point where your body stops. I'm telling you right now, if you go farther than that, you'll end up pulling something and you won't be able to bike ride. So don't do that. But if you stay here longer, this yin yoga is like 20 seconds. It takes at least 20 seconds in any pose to get the effect. It's actually one of the things I don't like about Ashtanga. We'll talk about Ashtanga more later, but Ashtanga is more like Tai Chi than it is yoga because it's designed to get you into the same flowy meditative state, and they don't care about the form. Sharath himself, if you watch some of his Ashtanga flows after he turned 50 something and got all inflexible, his form and posture are absolutely horrible. And that's fine. That's Ashtanga. Ashtanga is like, let's not hurt ourselves, but let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the breath and the meditative state, just like Tai Chi. But um, but you'll see the form go. Ashtanga doesn't care about form. If you do Baptiste yoga or Iyengar yoga, Iyengar is obsessed with form. The form is the purpose of yoga. Yoga is more of a prescription for a particular malady. Um, and Iyengar himself suffered from tuberculosis and a bunch of really bad problems. He was also completely abused by the same instructor that Pattabhi Jois had, who tore his hamstrings because he couldn't do the splits. And Christopher Chowdhury came up and slammed him down and ripped the shit out of his hamstring, and he quit. Iyengar quit and said, "No, I don't need that shit." Went to Pune and created Iyengar yoga. So that's where Iyengar yoga and Ashtanga yoga is basically jock yoga. That's what it is. And Pattabhi Jois is just a big jock. He even gets fat in his old age and blames it on his son dying, which I hate. So, oh, my son died. I can never do yoga again. Bullshit. Bullshit. Iyengar did yoga up until the day he died, no matter how big he got, no matter how fat he was. He did yoga his whole entire life because he did yoga for different reasons. His yoga was for to be restorative. So there's another thing. You don't have to just do one practice. You can pick from lots of different practices and make it yourself. Maddie Ezrati is my absolute favorite yoga person who has ever lived. Maddie Ezrati. You can go look her up. And she's like this New Yorker, and she's like, man, who cares, right? You can do this and you can do that, you know. She's like, stop being all messed up about it, right? And I just love her opinion. She's actually in the Pattabhi Jois Ashtanga Yoga video on YouTube. She's the girl on the far right, closest to the camera. And she's the one who put together the Ashtanga sequence on YouTube. Um, before there was YouTube, frankly. So anyway. So we're just all we're doing is stretching both of our legs at the same time, and we're kind of forgetting about it, and I'm talking and talking and talking. Obviously in yin yoga I can talk. I might feel the sweat on my body has kind of evaporated. So it's probably time to do a flow. And there's two reasons to do a chaturanga in the middle, or a vinyasa, whatever you want to call it. Chaturanga is kind of a part of the vinyasa. Vinyasa is the flow. We're gonna go from here, and then we're gonna do basically a sun salutation to separate this from the next pose. And another thing that does is it resets your body. So right now, my lower back has got a little bit of tension because it's been kind of holding me up, but my hamstrings feel nice and loose. So it's time for us to do a transition. All right. Now we're just gonna get back to downward dog. We're gonna get back to plank, and then we're gonna get back to downward dog, right? And then we're going to do an up dog, and then we're going to jump through again. All right. Now, I think doing a vinyasa, even if you're doing yin yoga, is a good idea because it does kind of reset your body mentally. It also mentally, you can reset a thing. And then it also kind of builds up more heat. So I'm all cooled off now because I've been talking and sitting here. So let's do a little bit of the thing. Now, if this is an opportunity where you can have fun with this. I was a skateboarder as a kid, so I actually do like some of the tricks you can do in yoga. They're just fun. So, Kino McGregor, by the way, talks about she's the big, 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 big Ashtanga girl in Florida. She talks about coming to yoga because she wanted to learn how to do kick-ass handstands. And she says it doesn't matter what brings you to the mat. What matters is what keeps you on the mat and that you stay on the mat. So if you come to yoga because you want to do kick-ass handstands like Kino, nothing wrong with that. Just, learn to build up your establisher practice. So when I talk about doing this trick, so the really great Ashtangis, they'll do this. They'll put their hands right here and they will lift up all the way and they'll hold their arms and they'll jump all the way back. But I'm not going to do that because I can't. So I'm gonna fold my legs as much as I can, kind of cheaply like this, right? Now, see, if I was good, I mean, I shouldn't say that. That's not a yogic thing to say. The way to really do this is to like bring your knees up to your chest like this, okay? And if you want to get good with this, the way to practice for this is to just hold yourself like this, right? And then you push up and flip back. So I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm out of practice. So what I do instead is I hold it for a second to build those lower abs. And then I lean forward and I come up and I kind of cheat. Sometimes rather than put my hands behind my feet, like here where they should be, sometimes I cheat. right? And David Swenson, who I consider my guru, who's Texan, he talks about all the different ways you can cheat that are okay if it's, but one of the ways to cheat and still have a little bit of fun is to put your hands in front and then lean forward, which God, the Ashtanga Nazis would come after me for saying that, right? But if you lean forward a little bit like this, then you can shift your upper body weight over your hands. Now, the secret to doing a jump back is your weight distribution. And once you put your hands here, it's hard to get your legs through, right? I mean, it's all hard to think about. But once you get your legs here, now you got your up, right? But as you lean forward, you can feel your legs want to go back. You see how my legs want to go back? So then when you lean forward, I've hit my face on the thing because my weight distribution's been bad before. So then you just lean forward and you pop your legs out. And then you can do your up dog, toes curled or not, up to you. If you want, you can put your knees down and just hold it here. I'm going to hold it here because I really need this. I need this because I hunch over my whole entire day. So I'm just going to hold that a little bit more. I think we'll probably do some Sphinx pose later, which is designed to stretch your back out. So now we go back up into up dog. All right. Oh, feels so good, doesn't it? Oh, that inversion has something. I don't know what it is. It's so magical about it. I think it's the blood going to your head. The blood goes to your head, and you're like, oh my God, that feels so good. I just want to stay here forever. If you need to take a break, by the way, you can do downward facing. I mean, you can do child's pose. Let me show you that. So this is child's pose. Anytime that you need to just restore, you can just put your knees out. You can modify child's pose with your legs out so you can get even lower. Child's pose is really, really important because it's a chance for you to regroup, right? You just regroup. So sometimes if you're in that up dog, I'll do a child's pose just to regroup. But downward facing dog, sorry, I said up dog. Downward facing dog is always a great thing. I always have to spread my fingers and remind myself to put the weight on the thumb and forefinger right here. All right, now we can practice going through it. Now, for this, depending on your mat size, I'll bring my hands back. Sometimes I'll put my hands off the side of the mat because I'm kind of wide. And I plank. Then bring one leg up, bring the other leg up, and then go through. Then down. Fun, huh? Now, I'm my lower abs are not as strong as they used to be. I could regularly do that before without touching. I'm gonna try one more time. But the way to practice for that is to bring your leg up and bring your other leg, you know. I can almost do it. My toe hits on the mat. A little secret here. Sometimes when the mat gets sweaty, you can just slide. Your foot just slides. It goes right through. Okay. So so we did the up dog and the down dog, but the up dog is what did the counter pose for me. So I feel like that's good. Um, let's continue to do the hamstring stretches. Um, and we're gonna steal from what I know from the Ashtanga. So they call them the seated poses. Also, if you're going to be doing a lot of yin poses, you can take, this is not something in Ashtanga, pulling out your ass cheeks until your bones hit the ground. You don't have time to do that during Ashtanga, but during yin yoga, yeah. Oh, okay. Now it's just so much easier to actually just doing that, you may find yourself able to touch your toes because it rotates your hips and it makes it easier for you to move forward. Now my back is bent, you see. It is still bent a little bit. There are, this is something in yoga that I first really didn't like. I was kind of, that's not right. But there are a lot of yoga poses where they deliberately arch their back. And the idea is that they're stretching their back. And there's some poses that are like that. Um, if you want to touch your toes, because you already did it the proper way and stretch your hamstring, and you want to like put your head down, keep your eyes focused on your toes or your knees, is up to you. Normally they say toes. You can do that if you want, but I don't find that as I don't find that as great a sensation as just touching my heart to my knees. Again, okay. So that's both legs. Let's try it with each leg separate. Okay. So I'm gonna do this leg. So we're gonna do, I don't know if I want to show you all of these. The three poses in this set, and I forget the name. I used to remember. I used to um but I should probably let me see if I can read you the name from again, it's been a long time since I practiced. Um Paschimottanasana was the one where we went over all the way. Oh, Paschimottanasana A, B, and C. Um, Paschimottanasana, which is I used to know the roots. I think it's head to foot. I could be wrong. You know what? I'll look at this. If I'm going to keep doing these videos, I need to study all my terms again. I've forgotten them all because I really don't care. Honestly, I don't care. I just want the effect. So this is, you mean, like a runner's stretch, right? Everybody's done this. Straight leg, this foot into here. Squared off shoulders. There's two ways to do this. You can do it like this and, do this thing. In fact, they even have a variation of this where you come up and you fold all the way around. It's got a totally different effect. For me, I just want the hamstring. So I'm going to do the thing again. I could reach down and touch my toes and arch my head and touch my forehead to my knee. And the reason I don't like that is because there's too many sensations. I'm just thinking about the sensation in my hamstring because that's the thing I want to have an effect. So heart and staring at my toe, which always makes me want to cut my toenails, which my toenails are perfectly cut and manicured today. And I'm just bending as far as I can go straight back with my heart to my knee, my thigh, whatever you want to call it. Not too far. I could get down a lot farther than this. I don't want to go down farther than this because it'll overly stretch it and I might end up doing something that stops me from riding my bike or walking. In fact, one of the things you can do instead of even bending over is you can arch your back. If you arch your back to make it a little bit straighter, a lot of times it'll end up being actually straight by doing that because you think your back was straight, but it really wasn't. And then you arch your back and you can feel the stretch in your hamstring, can't you? Right? If you arch your back, you can feel the stretch in your hamstring, right? And then at the end of this, if we want to spend a little bit of time kind of, having fun, I do like getting down close to my knee and hugging my own leg. I know, weird, right? I love the poses where it feels like you're giving yourself a big hug. And you're like, there's a pose in pigeon I'll show you that it's like you're saying, "Hello, foot," and your foot's like right in your face. And it's like, I haven't seen you in a while. This is really nice. Let's have this moment together. I'm not even kidding. I really love it. So to keep your back straight, let's do this. And I want you to see my back will definitely arch on this. So I'm going to arch the back forward as far as you can. If it's up here, that's fine. And then we go down and we look. The drishti should be on the toes, but I love looking at my knee. It's like, hello, knee. This is the closest I've been to my knee in the last week. I can see my knee. That's one of the things I do like about yoga is you get to kind of learn about your body all the time. My body really wants to twist today, so we're gonna do some Marichasana, but twists are so good for your back. Let's just do a few of those. Don't overly do it, but boy, you'll probably hear your back crack. I just did. My back just totally cracked. This is not a sequency thing. This is just because I want to do it. All right, keep the back straight. Oh God, that feels so good. Oh, feels so wonderful. Let's do another one. So good. Ah, all right, let's just relax and soak that in for a second. Again, this is yin yoga, so it's about relaxation and flexibility. It's not about, you know, sweating really hard like Ashtanga. Feels so good. All right, so let's do a vinyasa. We're gonna do a vinyasa, and we're gonna do the other leg. And I really should do some Mula Bandha, but I'm not going to because I think we're running out of time. What time is it? Let me read. I tell you what, let's do the other leg and then I'll read chat. All right, so again, we're gonna practice. Okay, cross your legs, put your hand out, see if you can hold that for a few seconds. Really bring those knees in. Really, really bring those knees in. That'll build the muscles you need to do the jump back. The muscles that you need to be able to do all the really cool tricks, the yoga skater tricks, they're deep, deep down inside your abs. They're the lowest of your abs, the very low abs. Those are the abs that make all the tricks possible because they lock your legs close to your body. And you can feel it right now. If you can't, you're dead. Right? Okay, then I'm going to roll forward and I'm going to jump back. All right. You can hold that there as long as you can take it if you want. Or step back the other way. Oh my God, we're going to stay here for a bit. Oh God, that feels so good. Oh my God, that feels so good. And it's not just because it looks like I'm fucking my mat. It feels good in my back. I'm sorry. I'm not a very good yogi. I said fuck. You remember those muscles for doing skate tricks? They also make you really good in bed. I'm not even kidding. Okay. One knee, two knee, rotate down. All right. Let's do this side. Oh, did you hear that pop? I hope you heard that pop. I just got a hip pop. Those are great. All right. Now this leg on my side is really tight. I gotta be really careful. I do not want to pull it. It is really, really tight. So I'm gonna rotate to point this. Usually people have that. I have one leg, my legs is like a centimeter smaller than the other one. And so on the bike, I end up getting different tensions issues with one leg versus the other one because they're totally different. Usually this knee will hit the frame top tube of my bike because this leg is a little longer than the other one. I know it's weird, huh? They have orthotics and stuff for that, but I don't do it. Oh God, it feels so good. It's just yoga can be just stretching, like people say, or it can be a badass P90X workout. It just depends on how you approach it. That's what's so great about it. It's so flexible. By the way, this isn't yoga. Do I need to say that again? This is asana. It's just 1/8 of yoga. Asana. Sit on your asana. Build an asana. It means, sitting or poses. And the asana poses are just designed to prepare your body to meditate. That is the only purpose for the asana. And yet we've turned yoga, and in West in particular, we've turned yoga into P90X. And in that sense, we've also turned it into physical therapy. You can pay like 200 bucks an hour for a physical therapist to tell you to do cat cow to relieve the tension in your shoulders because you need a breast reduction, which my ex-wife did. Not, I'm not kidding. They said, "What did they have me do?" And I said, she went to this PT thing, and then she came back and she's like, "They have me do. I have to do my exercises every day." I said, "You mean yoga?" And she's like, "That's cat cow." And I'm like, "Yeah." And like, how much did we pay for the physical therapist to tell you to do cat cow? That's where Iyengar comes in, right? Iyengar is yoga that's designed for physical therapy. And I can't go anywhere near that low on this leg because of my current situation, my hamstring. I gotta just relax. Also bending. I don't like bending my back like that. I don't because I do that with on my bike, the bend over thing. I don't need to bend over. That sounded weird. I'm gonna arch my back. I want to arch it some more. We should do a lot of like back openers because you're always hunched over on the bike, you're always hunched over writing code. I feel like we should do some twists and some back openers. All right. Now let's do that jump back thing again. Okay. Can you hold it up again? We're strengthening those lower abs while we're practicing our jump through. All right, here we go. You can, if you want, you can lift yourself up. Practice holding yourself there. That's hard. Uh, uh. All right, I'm dropping my knees because I'm going to stay here. This is the back. Oh God, that feels so good. I can feel myself like descending into it. We're definitely doing Sphinx pose. Definitely doing Sphinx pose. Slow. Oh God, I feel so good. All right. Now we're going to do some twists. Marichyasana. And you can do these with your leg out. I like to do them like this. If you do it in Ashtanga, you do it like this, and then you do it like this also, but this is more fun. The goal of this pose is rotation of your back in a safe way. You're supposed to move your back. You're supposed to rotate left side, right side, forward, and back every day. I was told that by a professional in my training who deals with people, the elderly, in retirement homes. And she said, if you do that every day, that will hydrate the discs between your spine and your spine will stay youthful into old age as opposed to drying out and cracking when you bend over. So, one thing you should never, especially if you're older, one thing you should never compromise on is you should make sure, not extremely, but to move your back to its extreme positions every day. Don't push it, but to do it every day because that act will actually keep your spine healthy. And God knows I need it. Especially my neck area right here has got some problems. So what am I doing? I'm holding this one under, I'm holding this one up. And actually, just keeping your back straight for a bit like this and just staying in that pose for a bit, it already is helpful, right? But we're going to rotate in two different directions here. We're going to put our arm forward. This is one of those Ashtanga tricks. There's actually easier versions of this pose, but this one's kind of fun. So for this, I am going to be bending forward a little bit with my back. So straight arm, right? And then we're going to turn our arm. You're going to wrap your arm. You have to bend around for this. Wrap your arm around your leg. Now, if you can't touch your body or like me or anything, so when you do that, your knee is kind of in your armpit. Okay. And then I'm going to take my towel and I'm going to throw my towel around and I'm going to grab it. These microfleece work better for this kind of thing because they're more grippy. So I have a microfleece towel. I'm going to throw it around and grab it with that hand. Okay. Then I inhale straight up. You look up, flatten that back, straighten it. So right now you can see my spine is kind of rotating, it's not straight. Now the goal, of course, here is to get it so that when you can straighten your back and you can use that leverage of your arm to straighten your back. Try to keep your back straight and try to straighten out those shoulders. Now, you're going to feel a stretch in your upper or in your lower hamstring, and you're also going to kind of feel it in your back. And then as you exhale, we're going to allow our back to arch forward, and we're going to look down at our toe and allow us to just go forward. And you should feel a bunch of stuff going on, but most of it should be going on in your hamstring. Now this one is more about forward rotation of the spine. I mean, forward, bending of the spine. It's also a little bit about rotation. And then we're going to do the other one. Now, normally in Ashtanga, it would be kind of a jump through here. Another thing about Ashtanga is there's a variation of this where they have their foot here like this. Don't try this; you'll blow your knee out. And I've never been able to do it. I don't think it's healthy, frankly. I think there's a lot of Ashtanga poses that are really intensely bad on your knees, and I don't do them. I don't think they have scientific basis and evidence, and there's some good people that agree with me, including Ron Steiner, who is my favorite Ashtangi in the world besides Dave Swenson. He's a German who's modified. He's also a licensed physical therapist, and he's modified Ashtanga for the people that practice with him based on modern science. And he's an absolute specimen of a human being. He's absolutely amazing. Um, I almost went to Germany to practice under him. He does a lot of things like a lot of the standing Ashtanga poses. He does them, he makes them do them seated first so they can get the flexibility and the ability to do it before they do the balance poses. I do think doing balance poses is important, especially as you age and you want to be a skater or whatever. The reason I'm talking so much is because we're doing yin yoga. This is supposed to be peaceful. I promise not every practice is going to be me babbling. I promise you. I promise you. I have a really chatty, babbly brain, so one of these times, oh God, doesn't that feel good? All right, now let's do a vinyasa between that and the rotating the other Marichasana. So let's do our thing again. Let's practice let's like do it for 3 breaths. Okay, you ready? Let's do our jump back. Oh my God, it feels so good. The up dog. This is the counter pose, friends. This is the counter pose. That's why it feels so good. Yay. Okay. Same thing with the legs. Bring this leg up. So now we're going to twist it though. Okay. Just kind of check your sit bones out. How are they doing on the mat? Your back straight. Okay, now we're going to, and with one breath while we exhale, we're going to rotate as far as we can. We're going to put this arm here. Now, let's just do that rotation for, a lot of people will keep their arm up like this, their hand up. I actually don't like that because the Ashtanga version has you, eventually, you'll be able to reach around and grab your other arm on this twist. So one of the modifications is this, right? I don't like that one personally because I like it to be closer to what I'm eventually going to do for Ashtanga, which I used to do, but I'm not limber enough to do it right now. The thing that gets in the way here is your gut. One of the ways around that is to turn yourself and then bring your thing up. If your gut's in the way, nothing wrong with that. I do have a little bit of a gut, so let's do that. Let's rotate with an exhale. Don't overdo it. Now you can bring your knee up and use it for leverage. And then while you're doing your 5 or 6 or 20 breaths, every time you breathe out, suck in that gut all the way down to the bottom level of your gut. Suck in that gut and rotate. A little bit more. Don't overdo it. You'll feel your body loosen up. You can feel that rotation in your spine. It's so freaking good. Okay. Do the other side. And start a rotation. Oh, I had a pop. Did you hear that pop? You might have to end up going to the bathroom after this or farting because it's wringing out all your intestines and organs and stuff, bringing in all that good blood. That's not a hippie yoga thing. It's true. squishes all your tissues. And when you unsquish your tissues, they inflate with new blood, oxygenated blood. So it's one of the best things about this. Okay. Oh, that feels so good. Now, see, now I just want to meditate. Let's do that. Let's do 20 seconds of just sitting here with our hands rested. You don't need to do Om or shit like that. I mean, you can just keep your hands on your, be balanced, keep your back straight. Look forward. If you want to, you can have a light like I do, or you can put a little candle there or something. Give you something. It's called candle gazing. It's a good way to get your brain going on. And then just you can actually put your hands here if you want. You can cup them. You can do lotus. I like to just have my hands right here. The whole point of meditation is just be comfortable so you can stay there a while. Um, let's do one song, and I'm going to actually turn this song up, and we're going to go to the end of the song. Gonna get me demonetized, but whatever. I'm actually gonna close my eyes. There's all schools of thought on that. Actually, no, I'm gonna look at my light. I'm gonna look at my light. Yeah, just focus on the light. The intense focus, intense concentration, dhyana and dharana, meditation and intense focus. Those are another one of the limbs of yoga, just as much as asana is. You don't have to do anything fancy with your breathing. Just think of the music and the breathing and the light. Let everything else go out of your mind, including me. You're gonna have thoughts are gonna jump into your mind. Your monkey mind is not gonna be able to let go. Pretend you're a person inside of your mind watching those thoughts come and go. If you want to, you can make your inhales really deep. Feel the oxygen all up into the outer corners of your lungs. A little pratyahara. Pratyahara, breathing. Another limb of yoga. I love my light, how it changes colors. Mm, just got chills on my whole body. The original ASMR. It needs to be on my merch. Yoga, OG ASMR for one. I feel like that's a good time to stop. So I wasn't gonna do a mantra, but I want to. Let's do the benediction, the Ashtanga benediction. Don't worry, it's not a devil thing. It just means that we're asking for peace um, in the world. This is something that happens in yoga, particularly when you meditate and you open your hips. You might have a bunch of emotion come up, like I just did. That's okay. Let it come up. That's what it's for. So, repeat the benediction after me. It's a call and repeat thing. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahishaha. Shubhamastu nityam. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. All right. That feels fantastic. I am emotionally kind of a mess right now, but I'll try to take your questions. Yeah, there's lots of stuff there. That's you conscious of your health. Yeah, you kind of need to be. Oh, gym and lift weights, two top training week. Yeah, I used to do that when I was a triathlete. We used to go to triathlon training and going to the gym can be sort of a form of yoga. Anything that has repetitive breathing or the whole Zen in the art of weight training, right? You can make it doesn't have to be you versus your body. It can be you working with your body. And that's the only thing I would suggest. And it's interesting that the creator of P90X The inventor of the CrossFit movement believes the same. Tony Horton. It's not about you kicking your body's ass. It's about you working with your body. It's like, okay, body, let's do this, right? It's not you versus your body. It's you and your body together and mind. That's what it is. That is the holistic approach to health, and it will work. Um, Yoga routine, we talk about it. I just do yoga every morning. In the past, I did Ashtanga yoga, half primary, just for the repetitiveness of it. But I've since decided to change my yoga practice and have it be more of a yin yoga. I want it to be more what we did today. The yoga that we did today served all of the major purposes that I want for my yoga practice right now. I get a kick-ass workout every day for 2.5 hours on the bike at 4 o'clock. In the morning, I want to release the tension that I built in my body during that workout. And I want it to be meditative. I want it to be a moment where I spend with me and my body, my soul, and the energy of the world around me, which means thinking through what I want to do during the day. It means bringing I want to do yoga. I want to calm the fluctuations of my mind so that when I go forth to work, I'm in a good place. I'm not ripping my wife's head off, yelling at her for some stupid reason. I'm not obsessed about the wrong things. I'm not in fear of the state of humanity. I can be sad about where we are and I can try to do my best, but that's what I want out of my yoga. I want a better mental state and I want the the recovery from the biking so that it complements my biking and doesn't go against it. There was a couple days where I did full-blown Ashtanga and I was sweating bullets and I was, having a good time. And then I tried to do yoga at the same time. I tried to go out for, 3-hour bike ride at the end of the day, and being 56, that knocked me on my ass. Next day I had to sleep almost 10 hours to recover. So somebody asked about my practice. So my take is, the meditative part of yoga, the yin yoga, and you're going to see me probably practicing more yin yoga. And right now, I'm going to use some of my Sunday morning. I'm going to go drink coffee and I'm going to go study about yin yoga. And I'm going to look into that a little bit more. And that'll probably be more of my practice if you wanted to know. But again, I said at the beginning of the video, make yoga into what you need. If you're not doing anything active the rest of the day, maybe you want a more active yoga, maybe a power yoga, maybe a hot yoga, maybe that makes I used to do hot yoga to remind myself it was summer and it wasn't winter outside. Painting your room saffron, which is what I did, and putting, you know, like a spiral on my ceiling out of Christmas lights and heating up the room. It made me remember what summer was like in the middle of the dead of winter when it was all depressed. So yoga is about building a personal practice. It's what you need. And that's why I keep talking about it, because I hate it when people come at yoga the way some people come at religion. They're like, tell me what to do, or physical fitness. Tell me what workout's going to work for me. Tell me what my diet should be. You've got to do the work to learn what you need for you. And that goes for learning tech, that goes for learning careers, that goes for anything. Becoming one with yourself, becoming at one with yourself and understanding what you want and what you are about, not what somebody else is going to tell you. Anybody who tells you to do what they do might want to question that, because that means that they don't accept the truth in my case. And I'm doing it right now. Whatever you do, don't do what people tell you to do. And I just told you not to do what people tell you to do, which is something that I told you to do. I can't win. All right, here we go. I think it's more of a sharing. Я бы так смог, скорее всего, Sharp Skulls бы с ноги ударили меня полиция после того, как я бы ударился затылком от пол. Роб, это опасно, по крайней мере для меня. Well, that's for you. You do whatever you want for you. Uh, Yeah, someone's back channeling me, telling me how to do my own yoga. Probably a bad idea. Голос, голос, который меня бы, мы заклинило у меня бы потом распутывали. Yeah, да. So
willfulness is saying that there's a lot of poses if they were to do them, they'd be totally messed up afterwards. Okay. And they're just joining us. So at the beginning of the video, I said this. At the beginning of the video, I said the reason that I'm putting this video on YouTube, the reason that I'm talking, is because rather than have me do Ashtanga for for 60 minutes to 90 minutes and seeing me do a headstand and all this fancy stuff and pigeon and everything, and having somebody on Twitch see me or on YouTube see me and try to do it and end up killing themselves, I felt if I'm gonna do a live stream, if I'm gonna put it on YouTube, I might as well talk through some of it and tell you why that I'm going to say this. You're going to get tired of hearing me say this. Find your yoga, find your poses, find what you need. Listen to your body, and don't harm your body. Ahimsa, ahimsa. It's one of the niyamas. It means nonviolence against yourself. Translation. I couldn't do that. Most like a scarf would slip off my leg and hit me on the face. Oh yeah, it's dangerous at least for you. You should first of all. Okay, so somebody was saying that doing something like this is dangerous. Oh, are you talking about that one or this one? Yeah, the reason that I use this one is it's more grippy. But if you have so much tension, if there is so much tension on the thing that if you let go, you're gonna go flying forward. You're putting way too much tension, in my opinion. You're putting way too much tension. You're just going to the outer edge of your limit. You're not pushing your limit. You're okay. That's not what it's about. It's about finding your limits and going there and just making it a little bit uncomfortable, but not to the point where you would crash your face into the ground if you let go. That's no. Samasa Suki no Babantu. Yeah, you know that one. And in general, there are many positions in which I could get stuck and then they would untangle me. Well, okay. So again, find your yoga. Find your yoga. And if you need help finding poses for you, then do that. And I'm really glad that you guys came in here and talked to me about this because you really solidified my decision to make sure that I'm talking during my yoga practice because I'm going to have to say it over and over and over again. Find the poses for you. If you truly want to know, what's the best for you, find poses, do them properly, don't push your limits, and don't do what someone else is telling you to do. Yoga is not about touching your toes or doing a pose. It's about a better mental state and being overall in health and wellness. Okay, so I'm sounding like a broken record at that point. Um, and I realized I've just lost all of my meditative zen that had me, in tears doing my chant. That's the price I'm going to have to pay for doing a live stream while I do my yoga. And um, I imagine some days I will do yoga and I will not stream it. Um, but But if I'm going to talk about yoga and I'm going to be putting myself out there on the YouTube and on live stream, if people know I do yoga, I can at least offer hopefully some constructive criticism about, I mean, some feedback or whatever about helping you get to a place where you're doing yoga. I truly believe there's a saying, and this is a great thing to end with. Okay, there's a saying in yoga. It's actually Pattabhi Jois, who's a very complex character. I won't go into it if you want to know all the drama related to him. I already told you some of it. But one of the sayings that he has from Ashtanga is he says, yoga, goes, do your yoga, uh, yoga, 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 and all is coming. And all is coming. And what he means is don't overthink it, right? And here I am overthinking it, right? Don't overthink it. Just do your yoga, listen to your body, and then God, I need to hear this all the time. This is why I'm saying it for myself. And all is coming. And when he said